All right, now we gotta get this work party started. So we wanna pull up a tune, yeah? Pull up a tune. I need somebody to manage my Instagram live while I'm working. Who, you? All right, cool. But we need you in the right position. You have to stand up. So you're gonna manage my phone and let everybody see what me I do and what you I do. All right. Remember, when you are a videographer, all right, you have to be in control of your camera. Make sure your angles are right. Hold it up. Right. Shoot the ladies like so we look nice and slender. Show your peers, man. St. Anne is alive. Welcome, St. Anne Massive. Young people, welcome. Wow. You know why you're here? Put up your hand if you know why you're here. Put up your hand if you don't know why you're here. That's very good. Very good that you don't know. You know why it's good when you don't know? Because it's an opportunity to. Oh, clap yourselves. Oh, yeah. We have some bright and ready youth here today from St. Anne's Bay. No, we're there St. Anne, the parish in St. Anne's Bay. I want it to be clear because some people think St. Anne's Bay is the parish. And we need to let them know the parish is great. Now, so where are my team members? All my team members in the center right now. You may be seated. All of my Talk Up Youth team members right here, right now. All right? DJ, run some music. I want to introduce you to my team. My team is mainly young people. Bright young people on a mission for change. I know uptown, downtown, rural, something. Just real youths trying to make a difference in the lives of their peers. So I want you all to be introduced to my team. All right? All my team members right here in the center right now. Come on. Everybody say Talk Up Youth. Say Talk Up Youth. Say Talk Up Youth. Come on, Renee. Come on, Big Dad. Hey. Come in, D'Angelo. Hey. I got the best team ever. Welcome to my team. Everybody. Frederica. Lisa. Alexa. Renee. D'Angelo. Hakeem. Sajay. And let's not forget about Khalid and DJ Ramos. All right, clap them, clap them, clap them. All right, so we're gonna get going. All right, I'm excited. Those of you along here, if you may need to put a chair in front of you. If you need something to lean on, I need you to have a paper. If there's room, I don't know where. I just don't like you on the edge there like that. Are you okay over there? You comfortable? All right, kick up your foot if you have to, you know. All right, this is not a boring something. If you want to put your foot on a chair, please do so. Want you to be relaxed. This is my office, your office, and we're doing it different, right? Because we have the power to change the system and change the game. That's it. Relax, hon. All right, we're going to start with government, and governance. How many of you don't really know how the government works? You don't understand it. And this is a moment of truth and honesty. All right, everybody understands how the government works? Because I'm coming to ask you. Put your hand up if you don't really understand. All right. Here the importance of participation. If you don't participate, then we're not going to have the outcome that we desire. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't know, because when you don't know, we're going to give you the information so you know. The worst thing is seeing a youth who can't read and write, and they must fake it, you know. If you did tell me, say you can't read and write, me would have helped you. But the fact that you go through your whole life, I pretend, you will never get the help. Never be ashamed that you don't know. Because within 30 seconds of new technology, you will be in the... And the fact that you don't know, imagine how many other people don't know. And that's why we're here. We've done our homework. We've done our surveys across the island. And we understand that a lot of young people just don't know about certain things. So I decided I was going to put my mind together, put my team together, and help you to know. Know your rights. Know how the system works so you can be a part of the system to bring change to the system for your lives and the lives of your children. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'm Empress Golding, your facilitator, project director, and I want to introduce one of our team members, Sujay Boswell, bright young man, comes from a parish close by, and he's in charge of delivering this workshop right now on government and governance, and he's very young like you. How old are you? 20? 22. Him just come out of high school. They're University, West Indies. Regular youth, and he will tell you who he is, and please make notes, because you may not know that what we're giving you right now is you're gonna see later how important it is, every single thing we say for your own development. Sir J. Boswell.
Hi, good morning. All right, so what I want to ask is, what is the government? Who can tell me what the government is? So I saw a lot of hands going up earlier. Who can tell me what the government is? What do you think the government is?
A body that governs the country. All right, a government is a group of persons that set rules and policies that govern a country.
All right.
My definition is a government is a group of people that leads a country or runs a country.
All right. Yeah, no man, talk. It's still your, no man, it's your voice I want to hear now. If it's the same thing you're saying word for word, make it be your voice saying it.
A government is a body of people who leads the country.
That leads the country. All right, so who's the government in Jamaica? Who's Jamaica's government? Andrew Willis is the Prime Minister. Huh? All right, so one of the things that we've been going about around the different parishes is that the government is actually both the PNP and the JLP, because the members of parliament, how many members of parliament do we have? We have 63 members of parliament, right? And how many senators do we have? 32? How many senators do we have? We have 20? 21. We have 21 senators, right? So both JLP and the PNP now are the government, because you have 63 members of parliament, which is made up of both JLP and PNP, right? How many of them are JLP and how many of them are PNP? 30 and 31? All right, raise your hands. Raise your hands to answer us.
13 is JLP and 8 is PNP.
All right, that's for the senators. Okay. All right, so we have 13 government senators being those who are appointed by the Prime Minister, and you have 8 opposition senators, those who are appointed by the opposition leader, right? In terms of members of parliament, in the lower house, you have 33 JLP government members of parliament and 30 opposition, being the PNP. All right, so what is government? The government refers to the people who have authority to run the country, as I said rightfully. If you look at Jamaica's government, we have what we call elections, right? We have different type of elections. You have local government election and we have the general election, right? Who do we elect at the local government election?
MPs.
The?
MPs. No.
The councillors. At the local government elections, we elect the councillors. Now, they used to call where the councillors meet the parish council, but that has changed. They now call it the municipal corporation, right? So that's something to note. It's no longer the parish council, but the municipal corporation. So the mayor comes from there, and the chairman of the municipal corporation is the mayor, right? At the general election, we have elections for members of parliament. So this is a bit of a structure of how the government is set up. So yes, you have the elected officials, but you also have the judiciary, which is made up of the judges. You have the executive, which is made up of the prime minister and his cabinet. You have the legislature. Again, those are the persons who make the laws. So the senators and the House of Representatives, which are the members of parliament, as we know them, they make up the legislature. So when you hear them talking about a bill and an act, that is where it takes place. So what is governance? We are reading it, right? All right. So governance, the manner in which power is exercised in the management of a country's economic and social resources for development. What does that mean? What do you think that means? The manner in which power is exercised in the management of a country's economic and social resources for development. What do you think that means?
The way in which they use funds to develop a country.
The way in which they use funds to develop a country. Anybody else? What do you think that means? Looking at what the government of Jamaica does, what do you think this means? The management of a country's economic and social resources. What is the economic resource for Jamaica? The funds. The
Tourism.
so tourism. What does tourism bring to us?
Foreign exchange.
Foreign exchange, which is money, right? So how do we manage our economic activity? Through tourism. What else do we do?
Agriculture.
Agriculture.
Trading.
Trading.
Mining.
Mining. And what are our social resources? When we talk about our social resources, what do we think we mean?
People. The people.
The people. Right. And when we talk about development, what do you think we are talking about at development?
Education.
Education. Anybody else?
Health centers.
Health centers. Anybody else?
Job opportunities.
Job opportunities. Right. So when we look at development, we have to talk about how do we ensure that our people have jobs, how do we ensure that there's proper health care, there's proper road infrastructure, right? So when we talk about good governance, what are some of the things you'd want to see in your country, in Jamaica? What would you want the members of parliament? How many of us know our member of parliament? Raise a hand if you know a member of parliament. Raise a hand if you know a member of parliament. Come on, raise a hand. Let's be honest. If you know a member of parliament, raise a hand. Those who don't know, I can put down your hands. Those who don't know their member of parliament, they can put up your hand, please. If you don't know a member of parliament. All right, we'll help you afterwards. So, if you are supposed to, and Jamaica is what we call a democracy, right? Yes? So what is a democracy? What is a democracy? What are the...
Government elected by the people to serve the people.
Government elected by the people to serve the people. Anybody else?
I was saying that the people have the right to vote.
People have the right to vote. Anybody else? Anybody else on what democracy is? All right.
Free of speech.
Freedom of speech. Anybody else? So we're getting the answers now. We just need to just think about it just a bit. What can you do as a citizen? You can participate in activities of the country. What type of activities would you want to participate in?
The different clubs.
Different clubs.
By doing voluntary work.
Doing voluntary work.
Same here, say.
Voluntary services.
Voluntary services. Some of those saying voting. Yes? So in participatory means that you're able as a citizen to participate in the activities. And you can go in and you can, if there's a meeting, you can have a meeting with the elected official. You can have a meeting with a member of parliament. You can vote. Right? Consensus orientated. What does that mean? It means that if there's going to be a decision, how many people are in the room? There are about 30 people here. It means that if we're going to make a decision on behalf of the 30 people here, then we can go to a vote and say, what do we think we should do? And then the persons in the room can vote. And then we come to a consensus, we come to an agreement to say this is what we're going to do. So if our government is going to make any decisions, there must be consensus. Right? Transparent. What does this mean? In good governance, the government must be transparent. What does that mean? Ganshay? What does it mean?
Open to the public.
Anybody else have a view of what transparent? If you want the government to be transparent. You want to know how your money has been spent, right? Yeah? You want to know how your money has been spent? Is there anything else you don't want to know? No, man, talk up, man, talk up. This is a space for you to talk up. You know, just whisper it and then so shy. No, that's not how it works. You must be open. You must be open-minded, true. But it must be a process where if the government is spending $500,000 on road, then we want to know, as the citizens, that the road is being fixed. We want to see it. They can tell us, they come and you meet with us and say, hey, this is where we're spending the money. This is what we're doing. So you can know, so the citizens can have an active part in how it's going on. And we must be able to look at it and say, well, if you say you're spending $500,000 and we don't see it being spent, then we must can scrutinize. Right?
Just want to go back to the participatory consensus portions, pieces, in an attempt to make sure that we have consensus in Jamaica and that we're participating. Our government actually has a policy where when new policies are being formed, it's supposed to go around the country and have consultations and town halls. So just bear that in mind as part of one of the things you need to know if we want to be participating, if we're going to become advocates. We have to listen out and hear all of these things because you can be a part of the process. So there actually is a policy. If I could find it and bring it up, I'll find it. But there's a policy where any new policy or law that's being developed, you're supposed to have public meetings across the island. Just remember that.
The government must be responsive. What does that mean?
This is like, all right. When there is any new...
What do you say? What you say?
Talk up, youth.
All right, this is when you have any new changes, right? And you have persons who don't really understand and they're trying to come across to the government. Sometimes they need to respond to these people because this is a matter that they don't know what's happening. So this is why they, like on the news, they have these feedbacks that the government needs to respond to. So like some of the changes in Jamaica, some of the things that are happening, the government needs to respond to this in the way how they're going to try to fix these things and all of those.
All right, anybody else? Anybody else?
I am saying that I think it means the government should respond to things that persons in the country, the citizens, what they need to know or their needs or whatever they want. Yeah, they should respond to it.
Yeah, you're correct. Say we are silent and whisper to yourself. You're right.
I was thinking responsiveness. If the government say they're doing something, you're supposed to see that they're actually doing it.
Yes? Anybody else? So as you see there, it means the government must be listening and responding because as you said earlier, the people are the ones who voted them in. Right? So they must be responding to the needs of the citizens. And one of the things that the government has recently done is they have opened an online petition. So if there's any particular, and this is a part of participatory as well, if there's any issue that you think that the government should be addressing, for example, mining in the cockpit country, there's big discussion, environmental discussion about mining in the cockpit country. And NEPA, I think it wasn't NEPA, but there was an organization that led a petition online to lobby the government not to mine within the cockpit country, and the government did not mine in the cockpit country. So, being responsive, it must listen to the needs and the cries of the people, right? It must be effective and efficient. What does this mean? Effective and efficient. Remember what we talk about? Remember what we talk about what good governance is? And we said being
So, effective and efficient meaning that you're going to fulfill one's needs, like the people needs out there, like for building of the roads and so forth.
yes?
I was saying being effective means it should be done on time, doing things on time and in the correct manner.
Right? Anybody else? Anybody else?
I was saying being effective they should complete the tasks that they set without depleting the country's resources.
All right. Anybody else? So being effective and efficient. One of the first things that I learned when I started studying about government is that the government exists to deliver goods and services, the basic goods and services to the people. So when we talk about healthcare, when we talk about water, that's why we have a National Water Commission. That's why we have a health ministry. The basic needs of the people must be delivered in a way that it is good. Being effective, that means the people are benefiting from it. Inefficient means that it's being delivered in a timely manner. Right? You understand what I mean by effective and efficient? Yes. You sure? All right. It must be equitable and inclusive. What do you think this means? Inclusive. Two big words. Equitable and inclusive. Somebody say something?
Equal countrywide.
Yeah, man, give me some words, man. Give me more words than equal. Give me a sentence.
What they are doing should be equal among all the parishes.
Must be equal among all the parishes. Anybody else?
Meaning that they should include every person, all right, or every citizen, everybody in it, in their decision making. I'm not sure about equitable.
Somebody here was saying something.
No, never mind, sorry. What did I say?
All right. It must be equitable and inclusive. Anybody? Equitable and inclusive. That's right. All right. So it must be equitable and inclusive. It means that nobody, no matter your age, no matter your race, if you're Chinese, if you're Japanese, and you live in Jamaica and you're a Jamaican citizen, it must be equitable, being you must be able to benefit from it, from the services, and it must not be treated unfairly. Right? So regardless of your denomination, which church you go, it doesn't matter. It should be treated as fairly as everybody else. The vulnerable people, the person with mental health, they must be taken care of just the same as everybody else. Understand? So equitable and inclusive. Nobody is left behind. So we all know we have members of parliament and we have local government officials. But what are their roles and their responsibilities? What do you think the roles and responsibilities of a member of parliament is? Remember we don't play the whispering game, you know? Alright, so no worry. See, a part of today, you know, is to build our self-confidence. So yes, we're doing a PowerPoint on government, but we are here to build the confidence as well. I was shy like you one time.
For me, the member of parliament is the person who is responsible for their, call it parish, They are the one who make sure that everything in their parish is going fine, or if the council has something and he has an issue and he take it to the member of parliament, he should be the one who is representing the parish and taking it to the big guys over him.
Anybody else? What is the role of a member of parliament? What's the role of a member of parliament?
The responsibilities of the MP as an legislation, like for example, they are the ones that should like meet with the community members and have discussion and ensure that the needs of the communities, the members of the communities are fulfilled and so forth. So it's basically they're going to like meet up and participate and so forth.
Yes? Anybody else?
I think the members of parliament, they are the one who advocate for the persons in the, or the citizens in the communities. They speak on behalf of citizens. So if there are issues in the communities, the member of parliament is that person who speak on behalf.
Their constituency. Advocates and protect and promote the interest of their constituents.
All right. Anybody else?
They should listen to the public and plan to make situation better.
Anybody else? Anybody else? All right, so remember earlier I said that the members of parliament act as legislators as well, right? Remember we talked about the three branches, executive, legislature, and the judiciary. So as legislators, what do? They make the laws, right? And where do they go to make the laws? In the House of Parliament. All right, so have you ever realized, anybody on Twitter? Anybody on Twitter? Anybody tweets? No tweeters in here? Okay. Where is everybody? Yeah, where do you go? Facebook? Snapchat and Instagram.
Let me see the hands so I can get a number real quick. Who's on Instagram? Who's on Twitter? Who is on Facebook?
All right. So I follow this guy on Twitter, and every day when Parliament is supposed to be meeting, he posts a picture of Parliament at 2 o'clock. That's when they should start. 2 o'clock. And at 2 o'clock, you see, remember you have 63 seats that should be filled. You see about 5 to 13 persons there at 2 o'clock. What do you think about this?
They are unprofessional.
I wouldn't say they are unprofessional, but they should try to be on time. Proper time management, yes.
Proper time management, eh?
The government and they want us to report to their work early, you know. So they should be in Parliament early.
Anybody else? Anybody else have any view? What do you think about that? So we expect our members of Parliament to go to Parliament on time. Yeah, if you say go start at 2 o'clock meeting, you have a 2 o'clock meeting. All right? So what about those who say, boy, we had to meet with somebody about developing something or something? Yeah? Stop from before. Okay. All right. We must contribute meaningfully to debates in Parliament and parliamentary committees. So, I mean, Parliament has different committees that look at different programs and projects. So as you know, your members of Parliament, they're expected to go in, as I said, represent the interests of your community and citizens and speak about the issues that affect them, right? And how best we can find solutions to those problems. They must actively participate in the work of the parliamentary committees when assigned. So sometimes, you know, the leader opposition will appoint somebody to a particular committee, or the prime minister will appoint somebody else to a particular committee. So they're expected to do the work and participate in those activities when they're assigned to them. Some other responsibilities: consult regularly with constituents so as to better represent their views in parliament and in the decision-making process. So just as I said earlier, again, you expect them to have discussions, citizens participate in activities. So one of the things that are topical now is the national ID. Who know about the NIDS? Anybody hear about NIDS before? What do you think about NIDS?
So I heard that it's just.
Yeah. Talk it up.
I heard that it's just. They are trying to. I heard that they're trying to make it in one, so you don't have to walk around with more than one identification. So you don't have to have an ID or NIS.
Anybody else?
Yes, they said that it's a national ID for persons because we normally use the electoral, the one that we use vote for our national ID. So this one that they're coming with is the proper national ID for persons. So it don't have any age limit.
All right. The man talk. I'm saying that you talk, you talk.
All right. I learned that it is the first national ID for Jamaica. We have never owned a national ID before. So the one that we have now is not a national ID, it is a voter's ID, right? So everybody in Jamaica, from young to old, will own that ID when it is being published.
Okay, anybody else? Did anybody hear that it's the mark of the beast? Yes. We heard that. Yes. Why do you think a lot of people said that? Because of the requirements, because of religion, right? But
I think some people say it because they are ignorant and don't really have an understanding of what's happening.
But what makes them ignorant?
Lack of information.
And who should give them that information?
Yeah,
they don't want to understand. They're not trying to understand what you're saying. They just work with what others say, what they hear. Yeah. They don't try to find out the information for themselves. So that is where the ignorance comes in.
Yeah, but remember, say, I'm not only mindset alone. Some people just refuse to listen to, so can't say and some people don't get it. And some people don't have access to the information.
Wait, hold on. This is a fun part. I love debates. And this is government we're talking about, so we're going to have those debates. So hold on, let me just get the points properly.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, You're saying they don't want to watch the news. Yeah, basically that's what I'm saying. The ignorance will come in where I don't watch the news, but then me hear you say something about it and say it at the mark of the beast. I'm just work with what you say.
So question now, what if they
don't...
and
then me start going and tell
what if they don't have access to the news or stuff like that?
Read newspaper. I can't read. Listen.
I can't read. I'm living in a bush.
I can't help it then.
You can't read, I'm living in a bush.
You can't read. And you can't, what you can do then? You can't read.
No, I'm loving this. I'm loving this conversation. We're going to be respectful. So one person is going to make a point and then the next person will let the point. And you're going to use the mic as well. So go ahead.
All right. I was saying that some people, don't have access to the information. So because they don't have access, they just make assumptions based on what they hear. So you can say lack of information, and so they don't try to get the proper information. They just go off of what, like person A tell them that you believe person A, and then person B tell something. They just combine two of them. Yes, ma'am.
Basically, I am trying to say the same thing that he's saying. I'm just saying that we just take what other people hear And that is typical Jamaicans. We go up on the road, go into the market, hear them talk something, and we just take it. We pick it up and run with it. We don't try to find out the information ourselves, and that we work with. So probably we even listen to the news about it, but we just stick to what we hear. We not really try to understand what they must say on the news.
Being that it is an worldwide issue and it is being on the news and all over, and being that persons are getting the wrong information, I believe that it's the government's duty to come forth and make sure that each and every person in the country is addressed properly with the correct information towards this, so that everyone knows what they're actually in for, instead of saying that this is going to happen or that's going to happen, which is not so.
I have actually heard that it's the mark of the beast. So every time I see it on TV, I always say, oh, what is? So me go and them have a website that you say you should go to if you want to learn more about it. So I go to the website and...
Who have the website?
The government.
The government has a website, okay.
You have a website where you go to. When you go to the website, it's one page with just some little bulletins of what it is. You can't make any query, you can't do anything. So what am I going to do? Believe what others say.
All right. Anybody else with any opinion of it? Anybody with opinion?
I think the beauty about it is I think everybody has a point. It started with a conversation. I think, what's your name, darling? Vanessa. I think the biggest thing and the biggest issue is not just it wasn't the mark of the beast, because we know people are going to come with the religious, but the government, and I think that was the point, people believe their rights were being infringed on, and the government was not having a conversation with us. And remember, we said it's supposed to be participatory, it's supposed to be consensus building, we're supposed to be transparent, and it must be responsive to the needs of the people. And in this situation, that did not seem to have been happening. And as the young man said, he went on the website, he saw a few things, he decided to do further research. So it wasn't just the mark of the beast for him, he decided to read, and he still couldn't get his questions answered. And part of participation is formation of groups who can lobby and advocate. So Jay spoke about the group that talked about the environment in the cockpit country. That had another group that took on this bill. And because of that, things were actually changed, because some of the things they wanted to do in there were actually to charge you if you were not registered for it, and tell you that you can't access health care and school if you didn't have an ID, and those things are unconstitutional and against human rights. So it's a matter of, all of you are right, everybody needs to get, when you hear the conversations, find out more information. And that is part of participating, that you need to make your voice heard. That's the whole point of it. And that's why we are here today. Yes, Dad.
And like, isn't it a belief that just like when it comes around to the time of election, where everyone take that extra time out to go to communities and make sure that their voice is being heard, I think it's the same thing that should be happening now with this national ID thing.
All right, so very, very good points. All right, so let me tell you. So I hold many hats, right? And I sit on this council known as the Partnership Council of Jamaica, which basically, when big decisions like that are being made, they come to the meeting, and I mean, the Prime Minister is the chairperson, he chairs the meeting, and you have different representatives on the council, right? So for civil society, I represent young people on the council. You have somebody who represents environment on the council, somebody who represents business interests on the council. So in about May last year, I was at that Partnership Council meeting, and it was presented to us as a bill. So bill is what it is before it becomes law. When it becomes a law, it's an act, right? So it was presented to us as a bill, as a draft bill. We said to the Prime Minister and the government officials that were present that if you're going to go ahead with this, you have to go into the communities and speak to the people. Because at the end of the day, We all know the mark of the beast conversation is going to come up. We all know that people won't understand because how many of you can go to the hospital without an ID right now? Like, can you go into the hospital now without an ID? And get services without an ID? You can. But what other, how the services are limited though. You can't do everything without an ID. No. The point I want to make is that the fact is you still need an ID to conduct business. So when in the bill or the act now, it says that if you don't have an ID, you will be denied services. It is pretty much the same thing though. Because you still have to walk with your electoral ID. You still have to walk with the electoral ID or your passport to conduct business. You still have to walk with the TRN if you have to conduct business. So the fact is, you still need a form of identification to conduct any form of business that you're going to do. The problem is, it was not communicated properly. And they never come into the communities and speak to you about these things. So the participation of the citizens is important for information flow. So you're correct. And you're correct as well. So none of you are wrong. It's just to ensure that we have an understanding of what is desired and is required by our officials. Keep constituents informed about decisions on laws and policies and the implications of those on the citizens. So it's very much the same thing that we were discussing a while ago. So, it's a popular question that I've asked. Who knows where their member of parliament? For those who know their member of parliament, who know where their offices are? You know where their offices are? Okay, that's good. It's expected that our members of parliament have office hours where we can go in and we can talk to them about the problems that... Talk it out. It's a free space to talk.
I've never seen that office open. No? Not call a name.
Who's the member of parliament?
It's in Ochi.
It's in Ochi.
Brownstone, the MP office is always open, but you have to be lucky, yeah. You have to be lucky if you catch the MP there.
All right.
All right, we have to bear it in mind that some of the members of parliament have roles to play in government, so they can always be at the offices and in Kingston at the same time.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else with an opinion? Oh, anybody else with an opinion? Anybody else with an opinion? All right, so here's the thing. Here's the thing for me. For me personally, this is my belief. As you said, some members of parliament have other roles that they play. But if they are supposed to play other roles, it means that they must play their primary role first. Right? Because you're elected, if you're supposed to turn a minister and you weren't appointed as a senator, you have to be elected as a member of parliament. So I believe that your primary role is to your constituency, firstly. But then, let's say they're really busy, so they can set, the member of parliament will be in office the first Tuesday of the month. Would you be satisfied with that? Yes. You'd be satisfied with that?
When you go to the office, what if you have an important document where you definitely need his approval? At least you know, okay, then I can see the MP Tuesday between the hours of 1 to 5. So you know you have to be at the office at that time to catch him. That is the better way to do it. But if you don't know, you keep on showing up. Monday you go there, Tuesday you go there, Wednesday you go there, Thursday, Friday, he's not there. It is stupid.
Well, I don't believe that the first Tuesday of the month, you know, I'm just showing an example. I don't believe that once a month is enough. Because you know that once a month you have much people in the community, you know, so everybody go pack up there, so you probably not to get through. So you have to, more than once, like at least 3 hours of time for a month, that would be better.
My member of parliament is Lisa Hannah. She's always at her office on Mondays and Thursdays. When she's not there on a Monday, you can find her on a Thursday off every week. It's either or either.
He is never in office. You go there 5 days for the week, and I can remember for myself I needed something. I went there Monday, the lady tell me come back Tuesday. Tuesday I go back, she tell me Wednesday. Until Friday, she give me one face to remark and told me that I should come back next week. But I never go back because basically I did assume say the same thing going to happen the other week when I go. But he's never in office.
And anybody else? Anyone else? Going once, going twice, closed. All right, so I think we're all correct. The members of parliament should make themselves, for me, I believe the member of parliament must make themselves available. But again, just as I say, probably not every day. They can't be in office. And they must have somebody working within the office that is respectful to and reliable. So anybody that they're leaving as their office manager must be reliable.
Yes, they don't have proper customer service, right? You're in certain organization, you're supposed to talk to people respectfully. That's the MP. You have to have that standard.
Okay. Anybody else? In terms of how, if a member of parliament is not there, what do you expect of the person who is there at the office? All right.
They ignore requests. So let us say they have somebody good, a good secretary working for you, and then tell the MP say, this person came today, this person. I feel that they don't really care, or they would send one reply. Because if you go there the next day, I think if they had told them, or if them not tell them or whatever, and them hear, them supposed to have one good reply for you when you go back the next day or whenever you go back. Sometimes they don't have no reply. They might tell you, come back the next day or whatever. So obviously, your request or whatever you needed was ignored.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. So your MP as a representative, and you jumped right into that. You know, in terms of your messages to the member of parliament and representation. The MP must consult and engage in discussions with a wide cross-section of constituents on A, how the Constituency Development Fund is spent, B, constituency development plans, and all other related development plans, programs that will affect the lives of the citizens of the constituency. What is this Constituency Development Fund? Who knows what the Constituency Development Fund is?
It gives the MP a certain amount of money to develop the constitution or to help the constitution that he's in. Is it that?
The constituency. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Anybody know how much the Constituency Development Fund is? 15 million? Billion? 15 billion, 3 million, 5 million, 1.5 billion, 1.5 million, 1.5 million, 20 million, 30 million. Who can tell me what it is? Google can tell you. 5 million. We don't know. $20 million. 20 million. 20 million. 20 million. That's what the MP gets. Oh, we never know about that. Wait, we have a lot of comments, and we need to hear these comments. Wait.
If they get $20 million, I would like to know where all that money goes. I would like to know where that money goes.
All right. Can I ask a question? For the $20 million. Sorry. sorry. How long does that? How long?
For a year.
For a year?
Yes.
That's all I need to know.
So if they get $20 million every year, what exactly do they do with that money?
All right, good question. But I'm not a member of parliament, so I can't answer that.
I think they help like the different persons in the community because I remember for my sister-in-law, for my sister, her dad died, and our MP, she came in and she helped out with the funeral because she gave stuff like chicken and juice and stuff like that they help.
Oh, and you think that's from the Constituency Development Fund?
I'm just assuming that maybe
You see where me come from? If you have somebody that die and they don't have all the help, you know what they do? They keep fish fries and stuff like that to gather the money to keep the funeral. Them not use it. And then and it's not the MP that does that. It's the councillor thing. Not the councillor. What Kim Brown Lawrence would that be what? She would be the councillor. Yeah, she does that. We not see the MP, so the 20 million there.
Anybody else?
So I'm not gonna be unfair. You see, in the district that I live in, Buckfield, that road, I don't know. It seems like every 2 years they fix that road, and it mash up every time. So I think they spend a good amount of money on the one road. No, me tell you Buckfield Road alone.
In Ocean, even though in Ochi where they have the development thingy going on down at Bay Beach right there, I believe maybe that is from the money that the government gave the MP or even the road right down at Margaritaville right there. I don't know. We're just assuming that's what they use it for.
Right, she's saying that the constituency has a lot of communities,
right.
But at least one community out of the whole of the constituencies, they must be benefiting, but there's none of them not benefit. Everybody is been affected by the same problems.
Yeah, but how do you choose
The one, at least the one with the worst bad roads. Or
How do you validate which one of them is the worst, though?
Drive through them. No, the problem is, listen, the problem is, I live in St. Ansby, right? And there was a road right there. And every morning, I'm sure the parish council people drive on that road and see the pothole. And none of them not fixing it. It's very recently they throw mall into that pothole.
All right, so $20 million is a lot of money. No, I'm asking, it's a question. Sorry, that's a question. Is $20 million a lot of money?
Figures, that's six figures.
Right. Wait, hold on, see Michael come.
In Jamaica, cost of living is very high. For $20 million, for an MP fix the community, that's not money. That is not money. Because, hello.
Can I speak, please?
The $20 million are chump change because we are all Jamaicans. And the member of parliament is a human being. She don't have two brains, you will we get one brain. So she split up the $20 million in a how much community, it not going to work. So they have to do what is necessary. No, everybody have no point. It's not going to work. You see, if it was $20 million a month, I would understand. It could have do something.
All right. Your point. All right, go ahead.
All right. For me, the thing is, some people just greedy.
All right.
Because you get $20 million, and I like say, your community alone in a whole parish. You have to just understand, say, if they fix your road this month, and they mash up, then can't go fix the next month again. Because you have other places who need them road fixed too, and them are grant. They have other communities who need fixing up to, and people need help. So people have to just understand, say, the money never come fit them alone. It needs to be shared equally, or me to everybody demise.
Wait. All right, I said we're going to come to you. So we're going to come to you and then we're going to go around the room. Go ahead.
All right, what I'm saying is the MP, right? It's one parish. So we have Ochi, we have one parish. We have Ochi, we have St. Ann. So for Ochi, we have one MP. Maybe for St. Ann, we have one MP. For Brownstone, we have one MP. So if each is getting $20 million for the year, it must can suffice Brownstone. Hold on. It must can, hold on now. If you have 5 MP, all right, what I'm saying is if in a parish, right, we have 5 MPs, and 5 of them I get 20 million each. 5 twos. That are 10. Understand? So each of them is not like them will give one MP $20 million for the entire parish. I believe it can work. And even if some leave over from one next parish, they must can look at it and fix so, a next community. So I believe it can work.
All right.
In St. Ann, right, we have Dayton Campbell, Shaini, Lisa Anna. I don't know for St. Ann's Bay who, but I'm saying, all right, let's say about 6 MPs are here. And this, 4? All right, 4, and each of them get 20 million. For Brownstone MP, I am sure that 20 million, because in every community have bad roads in a Brownstone, to be honest with you. So the communities that have bad roads, out of the 20 million, is supposed to can fix and fix properly instead of just send the people them come patch up it with mall. And then the next time again, it happens. Do it good and do it one time. I personally don't, because I wouldn't think that they're getting 20 million because I don't see what they're doing with it to benefit my community and other communities because there's always a problem.
Okay.
Every community always have a problem. No money in us.
I'm noting the point. No.
All right.
Wait, she's next, and then him, and then we can come back to you.
Okay.
Oh, we have
So,
hands up over here.
We are all one people, right?
Right.
And we live in the community.
Uh-huh.
We have the bad roads. We are depending on those people to fix it. And at the end of the day, we have persons going there, we still live in our community, right? And they might expect pay. Then I forget pay. Everybody not I forget pay.
You're talking about the citizens now.
Yes.
All right.
You still
All right.
drive on the road. You can save money.
Okay. And you
people keep saying that the roads, that you have to remember that it's not only the roads alone, you know. They have other responsibilities as well, not just the roads, you know. So if you cater for other responsibilities, I don't think $20 million is enough as well.
All right. Give her the mic.
A lot of us participate in the HOPE program. I was wondering if the 20 million supports this program, the HOPE program that we participated in.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, but I know that the 20 million is not alone for the roads or for school or to pay people and so on. There's a lot of other things that the 20 million is used for. So not all the time it can stretch as far as all of us want it to stretch.
All right. For instance, Northeast St. Ann. Shiny, she's the MP for Northeast St. Ann. Northeast St. Ann. And Northeast St. Ann consists of whole heap of communities. Exchange, Falkland, Ocherius, Sennas Bay, Limal. Yes, yeah. Ocherius, all of them places, the Pimenta Walk, and 20 million. Everybody have to just understand, say it have to split between all those communities. It never come fit one specific community. So, the thing is, we have to all realize that the economy gone bad, value and money drop. So, if you move this a chair right there, so one workman I go on 100,000 just to move a chair. Everything get expensive. So, we all have to, alright, yeah. In my community, if one road need patching, people make up them buy cement, then we patch a road, then save more money. So, places, we not have to all depend on the MP. We can do things ourselves sometimes. People just need to just stop pressure system and just try work with it.
All to speak a while ago so I could list the different arguments that were presented. $20 million, yes, it sounds like a lot of money. It does. Sounds like a lot of money. But as some persons rightly said, the $20 million is not just for roads. Some people benefit from educational grants. So some people get $10,000 a month, a year, the school fee. Some people might get help with tuition. Some people might help with sports. They might say the MP will keep a sports competition in the community. So there are different programs that the Member of Parliament does that uses up that $20 million. But did you know that in spending that $20 million, that Member of Parliament cannot just spend the $20 million, say, oh, I'm the Member of Parliament, I'm going to spend the money. They actually have to go to through an agency that charges a fee. Yes. The agency charges a fee when they're making any form of contribution to education, to road, to whatever. There's a third agency that you don't know about. Well, as in you don't know it's happening, but it exists. So, for example, you have to go through the SDC or those organizations. They still have to give a fee to those organizations when they use them, and they have to use them. So, we have to understand, say, yes, $20 million might sound like a lot of money, but when you look at the calculation, when you actually look at how much this parking lot, how much it costs to pave that parking lot out there, it might be more than $1 million. Plus, when you take into consideration the fee, plus when you take into consideration the education grants. So, one of the greatest things that I've heard in the conversation is that there's need for transparency. We need to see it. Because we're going to always say, boy, them not do it, spend nothing. But if you're not seeing it or they're not engaging you and telling you this is what's happening, then you're going to always believe that nothing is happening and the money is not being spent. So, yes, we have to call on them to provide the information, because at the end of the day, if we don't know, then we're going to always be assuming that it's either the money, as we always hear, politicians corrupt and them thief the money. Those are the conversations that are being had because they don't tell people and they don't share this information. It's not a lot of money in real terms, because it depends on how large your constituency is as well. Some constituencies have over more than 50 communities. So we have to be realistic about how money is spent and how they communicate this to us. So it's just like the needs. People have their thoughts about needs because they don't communicate it to us before. It's the same thing with the CDF. And then another thing that we have to look at is the role of the councillors. So the role of the councillors must represent the interests of the citizens at the parish council level, at the municipal corporation level. We soon break. We soon take a break. So you ever hear that you have parish council road different from MP road? Yeah, you hear that already? You never hear that before? Yeah, man, them always say it. MPs love say it. Especially when they get cussed about one road. They must say, no, on my road, at the parish councilor road. That. Yeah. Alright, that is sometimes true. The parish councillors normally look at the roads within the community space itself. The MPs look at the main roads. Right? The councillors also have to look at vending. You ever see people are selling on the road and you always see them run from the municipal police? That is a responsibility of the parish council, the municipal council. They look after public control. Right? Ensure that the allocation of funds by the municipal corporation and among all the divisions equal spread. Recommend the establishment of public parking facilities. So anything with public order at the parish level, that is what the parish councillors look at. Right? Monitor the establishment and maintenance of transportation centers, especially in the main towns of the parish. Streamline and regularize building regulations. So if you ever realize that you normally, when you go to a shop, they normally have up a sign or a document that states, building code, blah, 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 approved by the parish council, because they have to regulate, so to ensure that the buildings aren't faulty. To liaise with the agencies such as the Ministry of Social Security, NAA, Social Investment Fund, and NGOs and assist them to submit applications for projects in the community. So one of the beautiful things about the councillors is that they can write for projects. They can write projects and plans and try to get funding for these projects. Even though they have funding that is allocated to them already, unlike the MPs, the councillors have that little free way to apply for projects and grants. Ensure the registration of individuals who qualifies as contractors. So when you're looking at the work, outside and you say, oh boy, some people can do it for free, them still have to ensure that they're registered with the National Contracts Committee. Work closely with zone supervisors in identifying needs of the division. Work with the members of parliament to ensure that activities are not being duplicated. So it doesn't make sense that the MP is doing this and then the councillor is doing this instead of coming together and doing it together. Right? Be generally available to your divisional constitutions in order to answer questions, write recommendations, and give advice. Attend setups, funeral services, weddings, anniversary, graduation, civic ceremonies as a part of your ongoing representational duties. Work with the parish division committees in the planning of the division. So earlier, some persons made reference to this. What are we doing as citizens? What are we doing as citizens? Sit down and complain about what government now do. Gossip. So as I said, the community is bright, don't you say? Brighton is a community. Somebody said that the community was Brighton or something to effect. And the MPs don't do much in the community. It's the people who do things. So the citizens do have a role to play. We all have a role to play. Because if Jamaica is going to move forward, we can't just depend on the persons we elect. We have to get up and say, boy, we need a change and we want to see it happen. And we want to benefit from it. So we're going to be the ones who make it happen. No, we won't always have the resources, but there's some small things that we can do. If I see somebody that is in need of help, then I can help them out. Right? So, citizens' responsibility in the democratic society, active participation in nation building by being informed citizens, reading the news. Not everything on social media is true, because nobody regulates social media, so all the content you see is not necessarily true. Right? So you read the news, you read the reliable news. We abide by the law. We pay our taxes, jury duty, caring for others, which they call duty to care. We register to vote. I mean, earlier we talked about needs and the fact that a lot of people they register for the electoral ID just to have a national ID. But how many of us do really register to vote? How many of us voted in the last election? All right, wait. First question. How many of us were of age to vote in the last election? How many of us were of age? So we're 18 years old at the last election. Yeah. All right, can you put down your hands? How many of us voted in the last election? All right, so we see the difference. All right, we see the difference. We've been going across parishes and we've been asking young people if they voted in the last election, and they've been saying no. Mostly saying no. And the reason why they say it is that because they don't say anything better, they don't say they need to vote, they don't say why they'll vote. But who are the persons who vote the most?
Why some persons vote all the time is because they are the persons who are getting things from them.
Yeah? Anybody else? Anybody else have a point? Who votes the most? The elderly people?
Persons that are benefiting from the government.
Who votes the most?
The die-hearted people.
Well, I personally feel that that person will get a little piece on the side of vote the most, you know. You know what I mean? The persons will get a little thing on the side. Yeah, man.
Well, I must say, my best friend said the reason why she is voting is because
Portia give her auntie a house in the scheme to live. So she say she have a reason for vote.
All right. Why I vote?
For me,
She asked why I vote.
people vote because they want to see changes.
People vote because they want to see changes.
Yeah.
All right.
No one have to talk.
No, I saying I'm hurt by you saying that the only people that want to vote are those that want something. I vote, I don't want nothing. Nobody never give me nothing yet. I want to see changes. And I want to hold people accountable. And if I'm not happy with something, I use my vote as my voice. That's the whole point of vote. That is one of the reasons to vote. And there's something interesting. You said the diehard, don't knock the die-hearted people on either side. Don't knock them. I soon tell you why. And you said something about older people. There was a time in Jamaica where nobody felt that your parents and your grandparents never felt empowered enough to go and vote. So when somebody came and gave them a voice, which we are trying to give you now, they held on to that person. So when Bustamante and Norman Man used to walk around the country and go look for the people and talk to them post-independence and give them a voice, that's how they became die-hearted something, because they got a voice and somebody listened to them and somebody made something happen for them. So don't knock it. But we don't want you necessarily to vote because you're going to get our money, but you must vote so to make sure your rights are protected and that the things you want to see to help your country are developed. So that's why we're here today, so you can hold whoever is in power accountable. So don't knock them. There is a reason for it.
All right, so she asked me why I voted. She asked me why I voted. Let us imagine that we come here today and we sit and we say, boy, the die-hearted people vote. And people who get a little thing on the side vote. And people who get some curry goat and rum. A house. Vote. But we, the people who don't want a curry goat, don't want a white rum, don't want a house from a parliament, from a politician, don't want a rice and peas from a politician, don't want a red stripe. We don't want them things there. But we sit down and we say, yo, we don't want them things there, but we still not going to vote. How that sound? What happened? Nothing happened. Because guess what? You see, when the die-hearted man them go vote, somebody still have to win. The election is still a call. And if 10 people vote in the election, if a man gets 6 votes, and next man gets 4 votes, somebody will go win. The man will have a 6 will go win. So if politicians realize that we young people stop saying, oh, we're not business, stop saying we don't care, stop saying, oh, anyway, the people are going to vote. If we are the ones who go out and vote and we coordinate and we organize ourselves in groups, and we say we are going to vote for the person who carry the best plan can give away. We are going to vote for the person who we actually care about what we are going to do. We care about young people, we care about our future. If we organize ourselves like that, you think say them go only care about the people and them can get very good? At the end of the day, if we sit at the side, nobody now go cater for it. Nobody now go business boy. You never watch football. You watch football. You play football. You ever go to a football field and sit down on the football, but right at the football side and watch yourself people and play football? When you're injured, but you're not injured now. You have an opportunity to register for your vote and for your vote. You have an opportunity to play football now. You can impact how tomorrow will turn out by making that choice. So what I'm saying is that do not give up and say we're not going to vote because them are going to get curry goat and them are going to go vote. It is up to us to organize ourselves and say, yo, we are going to vote for the man with the policy. We are going to vote for the man where we come back and talk to it after, because as I said earlier, people say, them come and them walk around when a campaign time. After campaign time, gone. You don't see them again. So what you do? You have to sit down and make them come around again campaign time, and then when they come around at campaign time, the people them where them cater for, vote them back in, and then you see them again? Or are you going to be a person who after them campaign and win, you're going to come together in a group and you're going to say, we're going to hold somebody accountable. We're going to ensure, so we see you, and if we don't see you, when you come back around campaign time, we're going to tell us, no, we're going to vote you out. That has to be the mentality that we have. We can't just sit down and say we're not business about it. When you see a little brother and little sister give trouble, where you give them beat, you beat them. Why you beat them? Because they give trouble. So this is how you punish the bad politicians by ensuring that you keep them accountable at the voting process. Damian Crawford said it. Damian Crawford said, one of the only places where the poor man and the rich man equal when they go for vote. It's one of the places where young people and adults, persons who are 18 and persons who are 30 and 60, that is the only place, one of the only place we equal when they go to vote. So you have to ensure, say, you don't give up your opportunity to make an impact your country just because rain or fall, just because it's too hard to get on the road. You have to see the process as important as your future. Now, there's some other things that we do. Attend community meetings and actively participate. So you have your community development committees.
This is a fact for me. I don't know if anyone else can refer. But what if, say for instance, I don't vote and I don't have a reason why I don't. But yet still I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I scared to vote? I come from a family that them decide, say, them believe in a this specific party. So if you go out there, even though they don't know what you went and voted for, but within yourself, you know, say you betray them, and them tell you, say, if you go out there and you vote for one next party, this will go happen and that will go happen. All right. Them not going to know what you go vote for, but yet still scared for go vote. Then again, you not see nothing for vote for. So you not see what this party I do, you not see what that the party they do. So you can't make up your mind, say, so you know you say, all right, me I go vote for my people, them I vote for just because they believe in that. But yet still, you not have a mind of your own because you not see nothing at all between the two parties.
Very good point. Very good point. Not seeing is not an excuse to not to research. So as we say, yes, we want them to be transparent. But if you really care about what's going on, you research, you Google. During the last election, both PNP, and the next thing you can look at, because the structure of our politics is that you vote for a member of parliament, and then the MP will basically decide who become prime minister, right? So let's say you don't see anything going on at a local level, but you believe that you would want XYZ to be a prime minister. You can still look at it from that way. You get what I mean? So you research what the manifestos that they write, you look how, if they make sense, if it's possible to achieve, and then you make a decision from there. So understanding when you say fear in terms of the intimidation, I understand that is real. And you don't necessarily have to express. So yes, some of us might be able to. Some of us might be able to come together in groups and say, this is where we're going. And some of us won't be able to do that. But the fact that you have to be fearful should mean that it's probably something wrong you're doing, because there should be no reason to push you in a space of fear to vote in a particular way if that person is doing what they should be doing. You get what I mean? So think about that, and we can talk afterwards some more about that. So some other things that we should look at are our representatives participating in national debates. When they go to parliament, do they go to parliament on time? I mean, we come together in groups and we look at some of those issues. Again, we've basically, everything that's on the slide we've been discussing, and that's why I allow the conversation to happen. We talk about the CDF, we talk about watching the members of parliament, researching what they're doing, all of those stuff, so we can skip through. And I think we're going to take a break now. So you can get some